7.4, simplifying expressions using the distributive property and combining like terms. So what we're doing is taking what we learned in 7.2, the distributive property, 7.3, the combining like terms, and we're going to do both of them together in today's lesson. First examples. Now, these are all going to be expressions like we've been working with. None of them are equations because none of them will have an equal sign, like equals 2 or equals 2x plus 4, where you draw the line and solve. None of those right now. All we're still doing is simplifying expressions. So first thing you need to do is the distributive property. If you see parentheses, you need to get rid of the parentheses by using the distributive property. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times negative 5, negative 15. And now we still have this term out here. Drop that down. And yet I'm still not completely done because I still have like terms yet now that I can simplify. My negative 15, my positive 7. So 3x and bring down negative 15 and a positive 7 gives me a negative 8. Now I want you to start writing and keeping in mind, I want you to write it in standard form. I know we talked about it earlier, because technically this could be written as a negative 8 plus 3x. They're still correct, it's the same answer. However, getting into algebra now, next year different teachers, algebra 1 and so on, I want you to start looking at standard form, and this will be easier too when we start writing equations in our next unit. So putting it in standard form, meaning writing the term with a variable first and your constant behind it. So this is the best way to start writing them. Sometimes you might have two terms. Say you have 3x minus 4y plus 2. Then to write that in order, you want to have the variables first, and usually they go alphabetically. All right, B. I see I have parentheses I have to get rid of before I can simplify. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 2 is 4. And we have to bring down my minus 9x. And now I'm going to simplify my like terms of 2x. A negative 9x gives me a negative 7x. And then bring down plus 4. C. Again, I look at this, see the parentheses, know I have to get rid of that using the distributive property. Negative 6 times x is negative 6x. Negative 6 times 4, negative 24. And I have my term of 17, so I bring that down. And ask myself, can I simplify any more? Well, with my variables, I don't have anything to simplify with that, negative 6x, so I'll bring that down. But I have a negative 24 and a positive 17. It's a fight. The negative wins by 7. So negative 6x minus 7. Letter D. A negative 3 times x minus 9. Negative 3 times x, negative 3x. Negative 3 times a negative 9 gives you a positive. Negative times a negative is a positive. 3 times 9, 27. Bring down this term, plus 3x. All right, looking at my variables. Now I have a negative 3x and a positive 3x. That ends up being 0x. We don't write that, they just cancel each other out. And that leaves me with the answer that is all simplified down to 27. All right, I'm going to move this one up. This one is interesting, and this will show up in your homework. Letter E. Now the tricky part here, it's 16 minus the parentheses. Now that doesn't mean you take 16 and distribute that. That means that's a negative in front of that parentheses. So that means you have the assumed 1 in there. So you will take a negative 1 times the x, get a negative 1x. Take the negative 1 times the positive 5, you can get a negative 5. And then don't forget to bring this term out here down, a positive 16. And simplify from there. I have variable, negative 1x, nothing else to simplify that with, so bring it down, negative 1x. And then 16 and a negative 5 ends up giving me a positive 11. So negative 1x plus 11. Letter F. Again, oops, there we go. Bring down my 2x, because that's not being distributed. I'm using the term positive 5 times x, or 1x. Gives me a positive 5x. We're multiplying, not adding. Positive 5 times a negative 7 is negative 35. Now as far as my terms go, I've got a positive 2x, positive 5x. That gives me 7x minus 35. Letter G. Now the term that I'm distributing here is this negative 3. Negative 3 times 3x is a negative 9x. And negative 3 times the positive 7 is a negative 21. And don't forget, bring this term down, 14x. Now I can simplify, got rid of my parentheses, simplify, I've got a positive 14x, and a negative 9x ends up giving me 5x, and then don't forget, bring down your constant, minus 21. 5x minus 21. Letter H. Again, the term negative 4 times x, you get a negative 4x. A negative 4 times a negative 3 gives me a positive 12. Now here I have a term out here to bring down, and I have a term back here to bring down. So now I simplify from there, looking at my variables first. I've got a negative 4x here, positive 6x here. That gives me 2x. And then I've got the 11 and the 12, which end up being a positive 23. So 2x plus 23. Letter I. Distributing the 2. 2 times 2x, 4x. 2 times 5, positive 10. Now I have to bring down this term in the front, a negative 8, oops. Negative 8x. Now this was a positive 4x, so you got to put a plus sign in here for the positive, and then bring down your minus 9. Simplifying, looking at the variables first, a negative 8x, a positive 4x, it's a fight, the negative wins by 4, so a negative 4x, and then a positive 10 minus 9 is plus 1. Negative 4x plus 1. And your final problem in the notes for today, letter J, move this up a little bit. Again, don't forget, we're not taking 3x and distributing it. It's that negative assumed 1, right? This 3x just comes straight down here. This 17, that'll be plus 17, bring that down here. Now let's distribute and get rid of the parentheses. A negative 1 times x, negative 1x. A negative 1 times a negative 8, positive 8. Simplify from there. I've got a positive 3x minus 1x gives me 2x, and a positive 8 and a positive 17 gives me a positive 25. Final simplification. Alright, so that is 7.4, distributive property and combining like terms used in expressions. So the homework will be page 7 and 8 in your packet that go along with this.